So, again, thank you so much, Anna. Tell us something about yourself, your connection with Meghalaya. So, please.
Yeah, so I am a PhD fellow in cultural anthropology and development sociology at Leiden University in the Netherlands. I'm part of a 5-year research project featuring heritage, interlating communities, and culture. And as part of this research project, I've been working in Meghalaya since already 2023. Actually, I went to Meghalaya before my PhD project started. So my connection with Meghalaya started since 2023. Um, a lot of people ask me how I ended up being in Meghalaya. I have various reasons, but one of which is my current supervisor, Professor Erika Marker. So I'm a PhD student scholar in cultural anthropology and development sociology at Leiden University in the Netherlands. I'm part of this 5-year project. It's a collaborative project between Leiden University and Anthropology University. And then I've been involved with Meghalaya since 2023. This was already before my current research project started. And somehow I was drawn to this side of the world partly because I was teaching at Leiden University as a lecturer in the same department, and colleagues, and now my current supervisor, Professor Eric Demarca, has been working in jaintiahills over 20 years. So our conversation started, and then I was looking for a new research site where I can personally feel kind of related to the people I collaborate with. And then after hearing so many things about Natalia, I was just simply interested to know more, and I decided to then visit Natalia in 2023. And since then, I must say, I fell in love with the people of Natalia and the landscape and vibrant, scenery of Shillong. And I was just simply felt like I was coming home. So I was born and raised in Japan. And Meghalaya somehow reminded me of my grandparents' place. And my research is focusing on human and nature connections, how current environmental changes are impacting the landscape and cultural practices of people in Meghalaya, particularly in the jaintiahills. So that's my focus of my research. And then I happened to get to know more about the Tibetan community. So that's my main uh, collaborator. Right? And then around the same time, I heard about the Biate community. So someone told me when I went to Australia, oh, if you're doing research in Jaintiahills, you must know there is another community called Biate. And not many people, even in Jaintiahills, don't know much about this community. So why don't you go meet them? They are living in East Jaintia. And so that was also back in 2023, my first time I met this community. Yeah, it was wonderful. It does take some time. And even though my focus is actually Nyan people, I couldn't ignore my connection that I built with the Biate community. And so they welcomed me, and I've actually spent significant time, period of time with the Biate community. I've lived with the family. Now I call my Biate family and family friends in Saipung village. I began to want to return that kind of favor to the community. Uh, so then I came up with this project, with the
The Biate tribe is spread over Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram, especially in Mizoram. And in fact, they have, a small population is also there in Rajasthan. In fact, Guardian did a story a few years back about the Biates in Rajasthan. I'm sure you
Oh
must be.
wow.
Yes. So, so have you visited these places in the northeast, like Mizoram? Apart from Meghalaya, have you visited
Apart from
Mizoram?
only Assam side of Biate. So I've visited the Biate in the Assam side. Um, Apart from that, I have not been actually, much. I have not visited
Mhm.
much in India or India in general. Actually, my idea of India is pretty much in Pali. Um,
Make,
but yeah, so the Biate community, they are scheduled under the sixth schedule tribe, but under Kuti, other Kuti people groups. So it's combined. So they don't have the SC status as Biate, but yeah, but they have the SC.
right, right. So your book, I saw I mean, the section of the book that you shared with me. It is an illustrative compilation of a story. So it is more of a children's literature part of. Uh, why did you choose that medium? I mean, that style, the illustrative style, to write a book in the language?
Yeah, thank you for that question. It's also a difficult question. I think personally, I've been always drawn to this medium of drawing because by through the act of drawing, you have to pay attention to, details, and you have to have this imaginative element. It's not a photograph, so it's not a realistic, you know, representation of what is in front of you. It's just by drawing, you somehow imagine part of it. You engage with what's in front of you through this imagination. And so I wanted to enhance that part. Uh, um, so I often say this is a picture book. It's not a book, certainly, because it has this visual storytelling. So the book doesn't make sense by just reading the text. It also doesn't make sense if you are just looking at the picture. It has to have this visual literary both. So I would call it picture book. Rather than children's book, I think they are somewhat similar, but this book is not just intended for children, but mainly for children, of course, but even adults can learn something about the Biafra community, about the story that that the book is trying to convey, the message that Steve has put through, yeah, with the visual and literary story.
Is this the first book in the language?
This is the first Biafra picture book, and then it's the first secular Biafra book also, because they have the Bible and they have some other sources that are in Biafra, but this is the first time that it's really catered towards the Biafra school children.
In one of your articles, you mentioned about a project called Kirai project. Can you
Thank
please,
you.
yes, yes. So can you please tell us something about the project? What is it about? How did it
Yes,
come to?
thank you.
Yes.
So, as I spent more time with the Biafra community, I was becoming more certain that I wanted to do this picture book project. And partly because, as I said, my PhD research is about human and environmental relations. So I wanted to know, or I was curious, how the Biate, the next generation, forthcoming generation, see their landscape, how they understand their own environment. And so I wanted to portray this through first their own story. And then I wanted to them to imagine when I say nature, what is the imagine? So this imaginative element, I wanted this to come through, through the illustration. So the Kirai project started with my own personal desire to explore the artist cultures and relationship environment. And so the first part was to let school children collect any stories related to environment. I did not say bring photos. The only condition I said to them was to collect any stories related to the environment. Um, so it was up to them to decide what they want to include in that story. So it could be about mountains, could be about sky, it could be about the ground, fields, farms or animals. I wanted to know what they would include. And then so only condition for this was to collect stories that are undocumented. It has not yet been documented anyway. So I wanted to put out the creativity and originality. So that was the first part. Then over 20 school children submitted, all handwritten in Biate, on a piece of paper to me. And then so this was becoming like kind of like the writing competition. It was a way also for Biate school children to be using their own language and engaging with their own stories. And so they collected stories from their neighbors and grandparents and parents. They went everywhere in the village. So that was a wonderful part. But that was not the end of it. So the second part was the drawing. I organized a drawing workshop. There, we would read out some of the selected stories from the ones they collected earlier. And then hearing the story, the school children were to draw based on their imagination, based on what they think of that environment, what they think of that story. So that was the second part. And then these two components are the basis of this theatrical that we're just about to cover.
Right, right. So the Biates have been living in Meghalaya for generations. Of course, when you live somewhere for generations, you imbibe the local culture, the local habits, and everything, right? But during your stay, you also, kind of, you said that you are also much focused on Nyamtre, Panar culture, people, tradition. So, what are the differences which you found between the Panar tribe, the Panar Jaintia tribe, and the Biates? The salient features which are different, which
Of
kind
course,
of yes.
it's a difficult question to answer, partly because everything is different, but at the same time, there's always some kind of connection because they all belong to Meghalaya. So there's something that ties them together. So it's a great question, actually, because in the book, because I was in Saipung, Meghalaya side, and then I was engaged with Meghalaya side of the Biate community. As you mentioned already, the Biate community is actually everywhere. There are also a number of Biates also live in some side. And then they have different way of living, of course, because they are associated with that. But on the Meghalaya side, where I stayed, of course, there are similarities between the plant and the Kasi and Garo and the Biate. For instance, the Jankrucha, the Krucha, the apron, so Biates also wear on on a daily basis. Whether or not they see exactly the same way as the Pnag and the Kasi see it, but they do wear. And that will not happen in Mizoram or in Assam. That only happens in Italian. And that's a crucial connection to the state. And then I think it's a beautiful connection. Um, Differences, of course, differences. They speak a different language. This matrilineal structure is also not quite the same as the Kasi Jaintia and Garo side. Um, Also, you know, the Afghans, they are 100% Christian. So of course, there are things that are different and not similar. So it's a very difficult to say, whether they are different, but I could say that I could see the connections to the state of Italian in a beautiful way. And I think that really that ties them together as residents, as citizens of in India, as residents of Italia.
Right. But then they practice patrilineal, right?
Yes, but it's a complicated patrilineal system where also women also take center stage. So yeah, it's in general it's patrilineal system. So that already differs. That already differs from the PNA community.
to what extent do you think that your works, your research will help Biate preserve Biate language, culture, and to what extent are you planning to work in preserving and promoting the language and the tribe, their culture?
Thank you for that question. Actually, my ultimate goal was not cultural preservation. As an outsider, I feel that it's not in my place to do that job. It's completely up to the community. My goal with this book publication was to let them see their own environment, also document who they are, what it means to be Biate today. So it is not a preservation of, let's say, Biate folktales, but the story is an adapted version of the Biate story. So it is contemporary, not setting once and from the time, not setting in the past, but it is simply showing who they are today and what it means to be Biate. And to make this book bilingual, Biate and English, more people can read. Other people who don't speak the Biate can also relate to the Biate way of life and the cultural practices. And perhaps in the end, how the Biate community uses this book is completely up to them. I began to notice that some coming younger generations in the Biate community are becoming to struggle with literacy in their own language. Why? Because the parents, of course, want better education. They will send their children outside Biate, outside, you know, outside Jaintia. Sometimes they send their children to Shillong for, for education. So they have lesser opportunities to converse in Biate or read in Biate. So they can have a conversation in Biate, they have no problem, but they are not used to reading and writing Biate. So with this book project, I hope to create some kind of opportunity to reflect on who they are through their own stories in their own language.
Right, right. So that brings me to the book. I see that you have collaborated with illustrators here, local illustrators and translators. So I want to understand, like, I mean, did you write the book in Biate? Do you know the language in entirety? Or you
No,
wrote it?
no, I can buy bananas and I can say hello and how are you? I can have that very basic level of conversation in Tuesday. However, no, I could not read what they submitted. So it has gone through so many levels of translation, precisely because I'm an outsider and I don't speak Biate. So I collected all the stories in Biate, and then that had to be first translated. All of these stories had to be translated for me to just understand the story. So it started from there. And it was just like a minimal translation. I asked one of the brothers to translate, and then I noted down everything.
Anna, you have already, initiated a process, right?
Yes.
And in the process, you have also made a connection with the place, with the people. Okay. So, I mean, does Biate tribe or does Meghalaya, picture in your scheme of things later in your life after you complete your PhD? Do you want to come back to the place and, further do research, further study the place and people? Or, like, I mean, how are you planning your future course when it comes to
That is
Meghalaya and
such a
Biate?
kind question. Yes, yes, yes. I mean, now I don't know how many families I have in Meghalaya, how many uncles and brothers and sisters I have in Meghalaya, how many mothers I have in Meghalaya. I don't know. I have so many families and friends, and I'm so fortunate to have met all these people who have welcomed me into their life, always there for me. Um, Regardless of my research, I would always think of Meghalaya as my another home. Um, I would return again and again. And this would not, my relationship with Meghalaya would not end with the end of my research project. And then whether that's for the research purposes or not, I really hope to return to Meghalaya more in the future. I really value this relationship, and I am really grateful for this opportunity to have met all these people. I wouldn't have met otherwise. I'm really grateful. So yeah, I hope to return again and again. Yeah. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much, Anna. Thanks again for joining us.